Well, how? How could I possibly? It's, the lyric in there is win, but there is no losing. But how can I wake up if I'm not on my own side? If the story I'm telling myself about myself is one of less than perfect good. We're not talking about grandiosity here. And let me tell you something, there is no humility in self-abuse. There is no humility or redemption in guilt, shame, any story that says I'm less than the beloved child of God. There's no redemption in it at all, and there's no humility. My understanding of true humility is expecting God's best. And when I expect less than God's best in any given situation, I have just taken my arrogance back, my grandiosity back. If I am to make a declaration to God that this is the worst thing that could ever happen, as if I know, I just don't like it. There are many situations I do not like. How about you? I think you don't care for. I get it. We have preferences. There are certain outcomes I would like to have, and I would like to have them without having to develop the consciousness to know what to do with them. Cash, cars, relationship, things. Things of the earth, things that we call luxuries. Wouldn't I just love to be able to manifest them at will without the consciousness for manifestation, without the consciousness? I wish God were nice. But if God, I've said this before, but if God were nice, and God is not nice, let's be very clear on that. God is not nice. God is love. But God is not nice. If God were nice, some of my enemies would be smote down. The problem with that is I'd have been smote down a few times if God were nice, because I have a feeling some may have wished that upon me because they didn't want to have to face the thoughts they had about me. Just as I haven't always wanted to face the thoughts I have to think in order to heal. That's why the Jesus Christ message is so powerful, because what Jesus represents as man, as awakened man and risen man, is just painful for us to contemplate. It's horrifying for us to contemplate because I'm going to have to give up my resentments. I'm going to have to give up my fears. I'm going to have to give up... Listen to this. I wrote this the other day. I journal on an almost daily basis. In my journaling with Holy Spirit, I asked about fear because I was curious. I said, Spirit, what is fear? Will it help me to know what it is? And what do I do with it? And Spirit said, fear are sensations and thoughts based on misperceptions. It is generally owing to an unwillingness to know the truth and a willingness to be convinced in the absence of love, the absence of good, and the absence of presence. I said that helps a lot. So if, when I am experiencing the sensations and thoughts that produce the event that I call fear, what is the best thing to think and do? And when I say best, I mean correct. What are the correct thoughts to have when I'm producing what I call fear? And Spirit said, turn your thoughts to love. Ask yourself what the love thought is in this situation. And I thought, oh, I like that. That makes sense. That to me is logical. There was a time that would never have been logical to me. People around my house didn't talk that way. That I talk that way now. It's laughable, but it works. It's look at the best in church. What doesn't seem logical works for me, and so I have to look at that now. I looked up what Charles Fillmore, Unity's co-founder, defined faith as, because it's been a while since I couldn't remember, if you want to know the truth. And so as soon as I read it, of course I remembered. But faith, the perceiving power of the mind, linked with the power to shape substance. Spiritual assurance, the power to do the seemingly impossible. It is a magnetic power that draws unto us our heart's desire from the invisible spiritual substance. Faith is a deep inner knowing that which is sought is already ours for the taking. Now, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, which comes from Hebrews 11:1. It's the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of that which is not yet seen. What we're looking for, in case you didn't know, is the assurance and the conviction rather than the things hoped for and the things not yet seen. We have been confused about that a bit in our faith. A close analysis shows that faith is the foundation of all that man does. Whether you know that or not, it's completely the foundation. I have faith that if I move this way, I will get to experience this. How do I know that? Because I wouldn't move this way if I didn't. Now, I may think I will experience my misery, but that's where my faith is. And that's the assurance of the thing hoped for. So, Jesus spoke of a new condition for the upliftment of the race. He called it the kingdom of the heavens. He said it must be built upon the foundation typified by Peter as the rock who represents faith. This is proof that faith is closely related to the enduring, firm, unyielding forms of substance. The development of the faith faculty is a key to spiritual realization. According to your faith, be it done unto you. Faith in God is the substance of existence. To have faith in God is to have the faith of God. We must have faith in God as our parent and source of all the good we desire. Faith is more than mere belief. It is the very substance of that which is believed. It works by love. Thoughts of condemnation, enmity, and resistance must be released and divine love declared. Then faith will work unhindered. Faith working in spiritual substance accomplishes all things. This is the faith that cooperates with creative law. When faith is exercised deep in spiritual consciousness, it finds its abode, and under divine law, without variation or disappointment, it brings results that are seemingly miraculous. Have you ever had a result that didn't make sense? One that you loved. And it's like, how did that happen? How did it work out this way? I have no idea. But it was still founded upon your faith that you were unconscious of. Nothing can take place in our lives without our cooperation. Consciously or unconsciously. That's why I say to you, would you be willing to say, I have created all of this by the meaning I give it? The events unto themselves have no inherent meaning. No inherent meaning. Every event. And it's so confusing to us. But God does not tell us that this has this meaning for you and this meaning for you. Because, the same event can take place in two people's lives and they think different thoughts about it. So therefore, it has to be, I'm experiencing it by the meaning that I give it. And so often I forget to ask for correct meaning. Solomon asked for an understanding heart, an understanding mind, in order to rule his kingdom. And his kingdom was not something really outside of him. His kingdom was what he thought about what was in front of him. And so he needed divine understanding, divine wisdom. And if he was to prosper, prosper doesn't mean get stuff. If he was to be assured of the good that lay in front of him, he needed wisdom, he needed understanding. Because otherwise, he's going to do what we so often do, which is make up something. Make up something from our past. I will use my past information, which is not always the wisest place to go. The information from my past does not always inform me of the truth. It often informs me of my mother's beliefs, my grandparents' beliefs, Adam and Eve's beliefs. You can go all the way back. And so, how do we look at the faith as the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of that which is not seen? So Myrtle Fillmore, who is the mother of unity. She and Charles Fillmore pioneered unity together. But Myrtle was the heart, and she's really the reason why we're all here together today. It was her faith. And so she has a faith statement. And it comes, this is from excerpts from her book, How to Let God Help You, which was the very first book I ever read in Unity. It's the first class I ever took. And we have it in the bookstore, not this, but the actual book, which I recommend to everyone. But she says here, my faith. I do not believe in evil, I believe in good. I do not believe in sin, I believe in truth. I do not believe in want, I believe in abundance. I do not believe in death, I believe in life. I do not believe in ignorance, I believe in intelligence. There are no discords in my being. Being is peace. My faith, understanding, and love are becoming one. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. Myrtle Fillmore, 1897. Now, this is not a woman who had it easy. You know, you can say, bad, but Myrtle doesn't know what I'm going through. No, Myrtle knew what she went through when she was given 3 months to live. And she did not care for that diagnosis. And what she discovered very, very quickly, the doctors were not going to give her what she needed. She needed to find something within. So she went in search. She went in search of ministers and faith healers and what have you. And what she heard was a New Thought minister, E.B. Weeks, who said, I am a child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness. And that was logic to her. Of course, there's no sickness in God. And I got news for you. There's no problem in God. There's no death in God. There's no sin in God. There's no chaos in God. There's just God in God. And what we attribute to God, even though we cannot define them properly, because to define them would be to limit them, but what we credit God, the nature of God is omniscience, which is all the power that there is. Omnipresence, which is presence itself. Omnipotence, omniscience, what's the other one?
Omniscience, knowing, omnipotence, comes.
I know, there's three.
And omnipresence.
Omnipresence, presence itself, power, presence, and knowing. Thank you. Love. We attribute these in their divineness to God, but we can't define them. But I can know that I am them. I am what God is. There's enough clues in our spiritual teachings that says, you know, you will do all I do and greater. Suddenly I've gone blank. You are my beloved child, and
You are
made in the image and likeness. There we go. Ding, ding, ding. You are made in the image and likeness. Now today, would you suddenly become your first team player? David and I had a talk about this recently. I said, you need a good team. A team that you know is on your side. And but the team has to start at the top with you. Your team, if you're not on your side, how are you going to find team members that are on your side? Now, everyone ultimately is on your side for awakening, but it doesn't have to be a hard road to awakening. It doesn't have to be the hard path. And so, would you become your first string? The first member on your team that says, yes, I am willing. I set aside resistance today, and I am willing. I am willing to see my good in the face of all that I thought wasn't good. I am willing to see my power in the face of all that I thought was weak. I am willing to see my light in the face of all that I thought was dark. I am willing. I am willing to bless the very chair I sit upon. I am willing to bless the very floor I walk upon, the street I drive upon, and I'm willing to bless all those I come in contact with today. Before I shake your hand, I bless my hand in your hand, that we may prosper together. Before I kiss your cheek, I bless my lips and I bless your cheek. Before we speak a word, I bless the word and I bless your response. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to bring up the light into our conscious mind. But you know what? I'm willing to bet, all of us here have the time to be miserable at some point during our day. I bet I have allotted plenty of time today to complain that I'm not even aware of. I forgot to write it in my book. But if I want to, I'll find the time. Will I find the time to see light? Well, I scheduled for 1 o'clock this afternoon. Light. See the light. 2:30. See the light. At the mall. See the light. Bless the floor of the mall, all the stores, all the mannequins, all the clothes, whatever. To bless it, to bless it, to bless it. Blessing is the power of multiplication. But bless it with love. Bless it with light. Do not concern yourself. You don't know what that is. Do it anyway. Because I guarantee you will start to recognize it. Some of you already do, I'm sure. But those of you who have been forgetting, it doesn't matter how far down the line we have gone. It doesn't matter how much we have forgotten. One thought can bring it all back. It's like riding a bike, like rollerblading. One thought of love, and can bring it all back. Isn't that exciting? So I ask you today, would you consider knowing the truth by asking your highest voice to tell you the truth? Would you consider knowing the truth by asking the highest voice within you? It's not separate, it's part of you. The highest voice within you to tell you the truth about you. Would you consider today asking the highest voice within you to tell you the truth about you? Would you consider today asking the highest voice within you to tell you the truth about you? Look in the mirror. Would you consider asking the highest voice today to tell you the truth about you? And yes, I would consider that. I would consider it. It's one of my options. So you see, my faith comes down to, I believe in good. I believe in truth. I believe in abundance. I believe in life. I believe in intelligence. Being is peace. Understanding and love are becoming one. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. I am the beloved child of God. And so it is.